Hello everyone. So wait is over. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us today for this exciting webinar, Automation in Action, Real World Challenges and Smart Solutions. This is 𝐘𝐨𝐮 Mukherjee, SQA Team Lead of Rise Up Labs, your host for today. If you are a fresh graduate thinking of starting your career with automation testing or a few years into it, but yet feeling unprepared or for stepping into automation testing, stay with us because we have planned this session only for you. A lot of questions nowadays we have regarding automation testing, automation testing position in QA, especially like how it is growing, will it rule over against manual testing, all etc etc. So we will discuss everything today. So for that, today, we are honored to have brilliant professionals who have worked this QA journey and seen it from multiple angles. Let me introduce you to our guests. Mr. Mudassar Ahmed Choudhury, STQB CTFL, Associate SQ Engineer of SoftGeno Technologies. Hello, bhai. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. What about you, bhai?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for joining to us. Guys, we had another brilliant person with us, MD Aladnan, Senior Software Quality Assurance Engineer. But we are very unfortunate that we're not having MD Aladnan today with us due to some actually very unavoidable reason. And but we hope to have a discussion with him later. So we'll go with all the discussions with Mudassar Ahmed Chaudhry Bhaiya for it. So now let's start with today's topic. My first question is to Mr. Mudassar. Suppose tell me how you see today's world in automation.
Okay, bhaiya. So the first question is the today's world in automation. In today's world in automation in software industry, it's more gradually becoming stronger, and the software testing is growing very fast. Globally common use automation and testing in the many companies because of their they can want to release the more softwares are frequently in the market. So becoming popular, but many companies are still in early stage use manual testing. But some of the big companies or the MNC companies or some startups are using automation for reducing the time and the save cost there for software products. So the the automation is make becoming faster in the software farms or software testing industries. So I think these days the automation is need to be learned more, because if you want to stable in your career, so the automation testing is one of the powerful tools that I think.
Yeah, actually, it's shifting very fast. Mr. Moses you said that we are getting more aligned with with the automation testing now. Also, it's for sure like we have a lot of repetitive tasks in our software testing, so that we can have automation testing for that as well. I think yeah, most of us can relate to what you said, and this also needs to us to this actually also leads us to the most asked question: why is the automation industry is growing this fast? What do you think?
Sorry, why the automation is growing fast? Because of the many of the manual testers are taking so much time for testing the many of modules or softwares. So that's why the reason the automation testing need, because of when you have some automation script, so you do not need to test the manual testing for the previous work. So if you have a automation script, then you can run those script and check the regression testing, I mean the previous work testing. So that's why you can sure and you can assure that those previous work are well working. So I think for those reasons, for the saving the time and the cost cutting products, so we need to know about the automation testing, and we have so much tools like Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, etc. So that's the reason to know the why we need the automation testing in the software testing industry for software firms.
Yeah, but I will ask one thing to you, like, okay, where and suppose when do you think that automation testing is the only way? Like, there is no manual testing. Will it will be just only for the automation? Do you think that?
um, no, first of all, for automation testing you need to be proper know what is the manual testing and software testing pipelines.
Exactly.
So if you don't know about the basics, you not to do some automation testing frameworks. And many of testers or many of software QA, I saw that many of persons use the raw code. So because of those have the simple knowledge or the few knowledge about automation. But if you have the software testing basic things like manual testing, so when you know about the manual testing, when you know about the business domain, so you can structure the automation testing framework and make it as optimized to test automation. So that's why I think that not only the automation testing is the main reason, but the for you have to be more reliable or more stable to your career. You first of all know you first of all need to know about the manual testing. Then when you have the all software testing principles, then you can move on to the automations. Without basic, you don't push yourself for automation.
So for sure, we can say one thing like, okay, it's there is no way so where we can work only with the automation. We must
Yes,
need manual testing,
must need
and
manual.
then we need to go forward with the automation testing, especially for the repetitive task, or you said already regression tools, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. Now I will ask one more thing to you that you already mentioned, regarding the tools. So a lot of people ask like nowadays or think like, okay, which is the most handy tools? Which one should be used in what case? We have several types of testing, several types of domain as well. So which tools you think that it will be most handy for testing, and which should be used for which case?
Okay. So the first thing is the more reliable testing automation tool. I think the Selenium, and because of Selenium is a powerful tools and it supported many languages like Java, Python, JS. JS means JavaScript. So I think the Selenium is powerful tools. For the beginners, you can go through the Selenium because of when you use the Selenium environment setup is more critical as per business domain. But when you have the experience with that, then you can go through the uh, create some functions, create some automation related component tools, and when you are used to it, then any kind of any kind of web application automation, you can push in yourself to another tool like Cypress or Playwright. But for the beginner, I think the Selenium Java is the more powerful for knowing about the knowledge of programming, the knowing about the knowledge of the base, that how can I create my base for automation. So the Selenium is most common, many of company using Selenium. But some cases or some client requirement, the tool is changed. Like some clients are want the Playwright, or someone demanding the Cypress, because Cypress is modern web for supporting modern web application, and the Cypress is for have the many features. They have the automated weights and debugging tools. So that's why many of peoples are wanting Cypress or Playwright. But for beginners, I think the Selenium Java or Selenium Python is the most common for the as a beginner. So we can go on it.
Thank you, Mudassar Bhai, for your insight. However, I think all of us, even at this phase of our careers, keep facing on challenge, or the other in our day, like day-to-day activities. So, can you tell us about some of the common challenges that a tester come across during their regular work and how to overcome them?
Okay. In my day-to-day automation task, I face many of challenging. Some topics I can share, like the script maintenance, because of the automation script maintenance is most difficult because the UI changes. Every deployment have UI changes. If you have the previous work done in automation, but you do not use the reliable locators or reliable functions, so after another deployment, if the after another deployment that UI changes breaks the previous one, then your script will be break. Because of in our automation testing, we have two type of automation testing. Those are front end and back end. So in front end testing, we always use some locators, but maximum people don't use the reliable locators. They don't think about the what will be the next step after the deployment. So I face this challenging for the script maintenance. So I use the component based functions and with reliable use locators. And other than then I have faced some other challenge like flaky test cases. Flaky test cases means that you write a test case in automation that it previous work, but after your deployment it not work, but the locators are not changed. You have no real time issues. So those are the flaky tests. So uh, you I have to be maintain also that, and also use Selenium. So because of the environment setup also need, because of many of testing types I have that in device and responsive testing. So for those challenging is the most common, I think. And we need to be make sure those challenging should be those challenging should be more comes from the day-to-day activities. But for our script maintenance and the flaky test case is so much common, so we need to be prepared with the basic knowledge of functions, basic knowledge of programming. So those how I handle the flaky test cases and script maintenance. And for device and responsive testing, I use the cloud testing for CI/CD pipelines and use the Jenkins part. So that's why I handle those my challenging part. And most also the challenging parts come from the business domain. So this is the another concept, and this is I think confidential should be.
Right. Thank you so much, Bhaiya. Nowadays, actually, we all agree. We must admit that okay, setting a framework helps a lot. Can you suggest to us some case-specific scenarios for using different automation frameworks for different projects? Also, I'd like to ask you one more thing. That is the hype is currently that you also mentioned. Hype is shifting from Selenium to Cypress, or Playwright. You mentioned that is in recent days. So, what do you think? Why it is happening basically, or
Okay.
what are the automation frameworks we can use for different projects?
Okay. First of all, I share some scenarios. Like suppose
Mhm.
you have a login phase, a login type page. So you need to be automation it, and you using some locators for username and the email. After that, you need to be click the login button. So the first thing is if you take a locator which is not which is not reusable. Okay,
Mhm.
that you take the login field locator with id, then it will be a reusable because of id is unique. But if you use some text data or text index, so it can will be changed. Because of, if business domain have the critical part, because of another business domains have another concept, sometimes those are changing as per client requirement. And the client want that in login we not using just for email or username, we also can use the mobile number. So if you take the locator as a index locator, suppose you take the email part, and when it is changed, then your locator will be break and it cannot be happen to automation one. So this is the scenario. And the another thing is the why people are shifting the modern web application or modern web tools. So many of people are using selenium, but for your career growth you need to be know more modern tools. Because of, as per the nowadays, as per client requirements are most probably is cypress and playwright. And if I telling about the cypress, I also work on cypress. So cypress is so much faster, and when you are using cypress you also can know that which code is execute for which UI. Because of cypress is a modern web application, it can show about you the full of the things that each and every code using or executing, and each and every code are have UI representations. So this is the things, and cypress is easier to set environment. And I also told that cypress have automatic automation cypress have automatic wait and debugging tools. So this is the most common reason that everyone shifting the selenium to cypress. Because of in selenium, if I told you that many of people use many of IDE, someone use IDE. So if you get an error in selenium, you need to be manually to check that the debugging options, if you not use any debugging logs in your automation. But in cypress those are building, it is by default building the debugging logs. So you can find out the reason easily. So that's the reason that why peoples are shifting selenium to cypress or playwright. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing the example and the reasons why actually we are shifting. Uh, but for the fresher, what do you think? Like starting with Selenium is better with the like instead of Cypress or Playwright.
Yes,
For the
I think the starting with selenium is better. Because of, if you are fresher and if you don't know about the hard task, if you go through as easiest task, if you not know that how you debug, so it will be more complex in day to day, in your experience will be increased, but those gaps are exist. Because of suppose I'm sharing a scenario of my day to day activities, that AI already come, AI already launched, and every software engineers and software testers using AI, using AI. So many of people using AI, but if you haven't know basic things, and you already send a prompt in AI and AI gives you that, and you just copy and paste in your script, then you have nothing, no, you have a zero knowledge about that when, how it will be break. So that's why I think that as a fresher, you first of all you need to accept the challenging, you need to be accept the challenging. After you have a better smooth experience with selenium, java or js script or python. And also, if anyone also make a roadmap that I'm first of all do selenium and then I shift to cypress. Selenium also support js, selenium also support js language. I also work on it. Selenium also support JS language, but
Mhm.
there have some critical. But if you done with that, and then if you shift Cypress, you you need to be comfortable. Then you are comfortable with Cypress. So that's why I think that Selenium is first the best option for beginners.
Thank you. That's a good idea, actually. Good roadmap, also. Thank you for your insights, Mr. Modu, sir. So now, yeah, we have talked about a lot of things as well, but as we have just shared on insight for the fresher, I also asked you some more insight. Like, want to ask you like regarding the fresher, like what will actually this is the most asked question for every webinar. So, what will be your advice for the fresh graduates who are planning to start their career with automation testing? Yes, one of the thing is you mentioned already they need to start from the Selenium, so that they can have a very basic, they can have a very strong basic, and then they can move. Apart from this, what you can share
Okay,
for the fresh graduate?
apart from this one, I can share for freshers. First of all, you have to be know about that testing sites. If I share the whole roadmap for automation as a beginner, first of all, you need to be know about the software testing basics like manual testing, and in manual testing, you need to be know about the functional and non-functional testing. You have to be know the test cases, and whenever you also knowing it, then I think you should to be also know the HTML because of for when we are doing the web application automation, we also want to be we also need to be know the about the DOM because of maximum type of the DOM are exist, the DOM manipulation, and also when you are doing automation, shadow DOMs are exist. So I think after you have the basic knowledge of software testing part, functional and non-functional, then you are start about the basic front-end parts like HTML and basic CSS part. After if you cover on it, then you jump into the Selenium and try some competitive programming, how to create functions, how to create uh, array list, how to I manage the hash maps. So after you doing that, then I think you create some projects about automations. Like we have the many of type of the e-commerce website in Dara, e-commerce website like Daraj and Banui. So you make some web application, sorry, you make some um, projects about automation, and you can also showcase on your CV and create some portfolio. So when you doing that, the as a fresher you have the you feel you have a confident about the automation. Then day to day practice on Selenium, then you jump into the another roadmap like Cypress or Playwright. But this is the way. And also I want to be request for my fresh graduates that when you choosing any automation, first of all you have to be know about the how a website work, and how a website build. You have to be know about network call, you have to be know about the SSL sessions, you have to be know the DOM structure. So those are the things. So those are the apart things I mentioned.
Thank you so much. Actually, yes, I think these answers most of the questions we have received. It will answer all of this question. And as we are almost at the end of our webinar, so would you please like to share some insights and thoughts about the QA brains, and what do you expect from us in the upcoming days?
Okay. Uh, First of all, thank you for 𝐘𝐨𝐿 brains that are giving me the opportunity to attend this webinar or this webinar related sessions. And I think that QA Brains is doing a good work for QA community, because we also need it. That if those sessions are being continuing, and I think that many of peoples who are thinking about to career in SQA, they can easily know about that what are SQA doing, what are SQA done, and what they are facing. Because of we also know about the what are the developer doing, and what they are facing. But as a QA concept, many of freshers just think that SQA is just doing some clicks, doing some uh, buttons, click and doing some test cases, go through the website. But I think QA is not only on that, because of QA means quality assured, and you assure the every scenarios, you assure the every test cases of negative test cases, that how a website or how a software will be break. But and this is the thing that the QA community, this is the things to know about the QA community, and QA brains doing that, to know, to sharing the knowledge, sharing the experience about others QA and others general peoples, that SQA exist and SQ is doing those things. And thank you for that, those sharing knowledge. And for upcoming events or upcoming session, I should be request the QA brain for make some real project related workstation or workspace for about those things, or giving some challenge about like code lead and those tasks related, that it will be more the frequent activities. And I hope that q events will be more grow on those activities. That's it for Q events. And thank you for the every person who doing the QA brains to make the QA community more stronger. So thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Vaya, and thank you for the suggestions that you shared for QA Brains. We'll must try our best to look onto it, and we hope that we'll have you in future whenever we require.
Sure.
And thank you so much. So thank you very much, the viewers, for joining us. Stay with QA Brains, stay connected, continue learning, and please stay up to date. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.